Gentlemen, welcome back to Go Condition 1. Here at Go Condition 1, we are preparing for the trials and tribulations that will inevitably come our way, to be a beacon of strength in a sea of chaos. For it is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. In order to Go Condition 1, we must establish a proper baseline in which to build a solid foundation that will support a fulfilling life. In the last episode, we discussed the second phase of the OODA Loop cycle, the orientation phase, and how to apply it to our lives. If you haven't seen it, here's the link to go and watch it. As a brief recap, the OODA Loop is a continuous cycle of observation, evaluation, and improvement that can be applied to large or small situations in one's life. The OODA Loop is an acronym standing for observe, orient, decide, act, and then loop. The loop is to loop back in a continuous manner for the purpose of evaluation and to observe progress. The OODA Loop provides a structured process to quickly assess a situation, interpret it based on experience and context, choose a course of action, and execute said course of action. By cycling through these steps rapidly, you can respond to dynamic threats faster and make more informed decisions. Each step must be executed in a truthful manner in order to proceed to the next step. This process will break down and not produce an optimal outcome if we do not execute each step in a hyper-truthful manner. The OODA Loop cycle is scalable and can be fit into almost every situation, whether you were looking to cut costs and save money, take the first steps to improving your health, or a major redirection with a career change. But today we are discussing the third phase, the decision phase. In the decision phase, we will be taking the calculated information from the orient phase, which was built off the raw data from the observation phase, and making an informed decision that will determine a proper path forward. The decision phase translates insights into concrete choices in order to advance personal goals. The purpose of the decide phase, one purpose of the decide phase is the objective. And the objective purpose of the decide phase is to utilize the analysis and mental model formed during the orient phase. We will select a specific, feasible course of action to move forward towards our selected end goal. You're going to have context to the decide phase, and that's going to involve selecting and choosing a path that advances your decision to improve your life. Followed by the outcome, and the outcome needs to be a clear decision that sets the stage for the next step in the OODA Loop cycle, and that is the act phase. This enables progress while maintaining flexibility to adapt new information as it is discovered. Key steps for practicing decision making. Evaluate your options. Identify 2 to 3 viable courses of action based on your gathered insights from the orient phase. How or in what manner do your skills, assets, goals, and values align with your end goal? Which course of action utilizes the majority of your skills and assets in a beneficial manner? Which course of action provides the path of least resistance? And is there any overlap between the aforementioned paths? You will need to weigh the pros and cons. Assess each path forward for their individual benefits and risk. Compare and weigh benefits against risk or drawbacks. Evaluate cost and time that are required, as well as evaluating the effort required for each path forward. Ensure to align your path forward with your goals and your values. Select the option for a path forward that best aligns with your long-term vision, as well as your core values. Plan for adaptability. The path forward must include enough flexibility for you to adjust and pivot when new data emerges. Do not select an option if you are not willing to put in the proper time and work to accomplish the plan. If you find yourself questioning the amount of work required to properly execute, then go back and adjust your end goal and how you will properly get there. You can always start small. Do not bite off more than you can chew. We must have a robust comprehension of the work required to achieve our end goals. I do not recommend underestimating the time, energy, nor finances that will be required to implement the execution of a goal, because once we decide and then act, it may be difficult to adjust if your target is too large. Again, you can always start small and grow from there. In the case of a goal with a hard stop, in a situation to where if it's a class or executing a certificate that has a final exam, you will need to build a rough schedule to ensure you spend enough time consuming the material while leaving adequate time to prepare and study for the final exam. Here are some practical methods for decision making. You can create a decision matrix. Now, the decision matrix, we could go and have a deep dive into this, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to keep it high altitude. For the decision matrix, you're going to need to identify options, list possible actions required. Second, define criteria, select relevant factors. Third, assign weights, prioritize criteria based on importance. Next, score options, rate each option against each criteria. And then finally, calculate your scores. Multiply the values of weights and sum in order to get each score, which in turn you will visually observe their comparable ranking. Another practical method for decision making is to consult a mentor or trusted advisor. Seek input from trusted mentors, peers, or family to act as a sounding board, and they can either validate or challenge your ideas and your choices. You will need to time box your decisions. Set a deadline in order to avoid overthinking and delaying your decision. You want to avoid paralysis by analysis. Visualize outcomes. Mentally simulate the results of each option for a path forward in order to assess emotional costs and practical fit. Test small. If applicable, choose a low-risk action to test your decisions. One example is you can try free coding courses online to confirm your interest before committing to a larger program, as in a university program. Next, in the decision phase, we need to train our decision-making skills. Practice small decisions. Build confidence by making small decisions on a daily basis using a structured approach. Examples could be executing meal prep or an exercise routine. Decide and execute an exercise routine for 3 days a week and track your progress as well as how well you adhere to this exercise. Learn from past decisions. Reflect on previous choices to identify what worked and what did not. This is also a great area for a trusted mentor. It is better to learn from other people's successes and especially mistakes in order for you not to create those same mistakes. Simulate scenarios. Practice decision making in low stakes settings. Next, study decision frameworks. Read books or watch videos to refine and improve your decision making process. Simply educate yourself. With modern technology and the knowledge of the world literally in our pocket, in today's time, it is a choice to be ignorant. Potential challenges you're going to face. Fear of failure. Hesitation to make a decision due to the risk of mistakes or failure. Do not defeat yourself before you even begin. You will face enough trials and tribulations from external forces. Do not add to your burden. Start small and implement the 70% solution mantra, which is executing a 70% solution now is better than delaying and waiting for a 100% solution later. You will need to avoid drowning in options. As the saying is, paralysis by analysis. Too many choices will lead to an overwhelming amount of required analysis, and in the end, it may be too much to process. Narrow potential courses of action down to 2 or 3 options that are best fits based on your orientation phase priorities. Be wary of external pressures. Other people's expectations may conflict with your goals, so stay grounded and stand upon your values. I suggest you do not advertise your goals and only discuss them with trusted mentors or trusted peers. Always let your successful results speak for themselves. More potential challenges may include uncertainty. Incomplete information is normal, so start small and decide with confidence, knowing that you can reorient and adjust later. Lean on a key marine phrase, which is improvise, adapt, and overcome. We will review and discuss this more in depth in the next video pertaining to the execution of the action phase within the OODA Loop. Now for key takeaways. Deciding involves choosing a clear, actionable path based on insights of the orient phase while prioritizing speed and alignment with your goals. Observe where you are and take account of your situation. Taking account of your situation will allow you to turn your eyes and orient yourself towards a proper goal of self-improvement. As in the first observation phase, we must be truthful with ourselves and truthful with our observations, truthful with our orientation, and truthful with our decisions, as each builds upon the other, and to build upon a foundation of sand will render disastrous results. Now is not the time to delude yourself nor begin a journey based on lies or self-deception. As in archery or firearm practice, you must observe your target, properly adjust your position, and aim true in order to strike the bullseye. This concept is applicable in our lives, as we will fail to hit our goals if we do not properly observe our immediate surroundings and establish a truthful baseline. Your orientation's mental model informs a specific choice within your decide phase, which in turn triggers the next phase of action. Remember, this series is to provide a framework that each individual can take, adjust to their own unique specifications, and utilize to the level that best suits them at that time and the place of their choosing. In the next video, we will continue with the last step of the OODA Loop, the action and execution of the decision we created from our previous observations and decisions. Men, you are not alone. Lean upon the teachings of Christ and make quality decisions that are based upon factual observations within areas of your life that require improvement. The Lord blessed us with a limited time upon this earth, so let's pick up our burden and press forward. Until next time, peace be upon you, brothers, as we prepare to go condition 1.